Hello all. I'm back. It's me, Nowhere Road 12. Been gone for a little while. Been, well, I guess the last set of videos I made was on 2017. Wasn't really happy with the performance of the video or how it even looked, so I just made a couple, and then I think I was pretty much done because of the way that they looked and how it was performing. But thankfully we sorted all that crap out now. Got everything fixed. Ooh, excuse me, computer's working 100% better than it was. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Had some upgrades done to it. Put some different things in, took some different things out. All in all, she's running better than she ever has. So it's time to start doing videos again. Will you stop panting in my ear? Dogs, what are you gonna do? Well, breakfast is over, so it's time to get going anyway. So, welcome everyone to the dairy farm. Now, since this is the first time out and don't really know what's on it or what I've been doing, or even for that matter where I've been, I'm going to take you on a little machinery tour first off. We'll go from machinery here to what's in the sheds, what's outside of the sheds, and do the animal tours, and tell you what we've been up to lately while we're checking all the equipment out. So we're going to start out first here with the New Holland T6. It's a 175. This tractor is our chore tractor. Everything that's an everyday task that we've got to do over and over and over again usually gets assigned to this tractor because of its maneuverability and because of the capacity that it has, the lift capacity, and the ability to get in and out of tight spaces. Nominates this tractor for a lot of jobs that the other tractors just can't do. Hence the reason it has a front loader bracket on it too. And from there we go to this Deutz. Now, those of you that have played the Farming Simulator series recognize this tractor. It's the AgriStar 6-61. Hasn't changed. The old Deutz Far. I just got this tractor a couple of days ago. Dealer had it down there. Got it as a trade-in. And I brought it up here as a demonstrator. I've had the planter on it. That's the only thing it's really done since I've had it. Well, that and cultivated. I don't think I'm going to be keeping it because I just don't have a need for 4 tractors on this farm. So I'll probably be turning it back in here pretty soon. Just not really a need to keep it. So we also have our seeder on it. This is the Kuhn, one of the Kuhn seeders. It's a cereal grain crop seeder. I believe this guy, I was getting this guy ready to go out and seed the plowed field across the road from us. We were going to seed it with some wheat, but haven't gotten that far yet. As you can plainly see behind that is the Pottinger Mex forage harvester. That goes on the front of our Massey Ferguson tractor behind me. And the Brantner Power Push, which is sitting right here in front of us, gets hooked to the back of it, and we do our foraging with this combo. And it works really well. Does a good job. I'll tell you what though, pulling that wagon and that Pottinger really works the old Massey hard, but that's what it does, you know. So, and speaking of Massey's, this is a Massey Ferguson 7726. This is the biggest 7700 series I think you can get, or the biggest 7000 series you can get in this model range. It's a Dyna 6 transmission. This thing is phenomenal. It does everything I need it to do. Doesn't complain about it, just does it. It does most of the heavy work around here, such as forage harvesting. It pulls the plow for me, got a moldboard plow, you'll see that later. She pulls that, does most of, like I said, the heavy work. Carting, the heavy carts, you know, doing the manure spreading. Not so much as manure spreading, but slurry spreading. This tractor, like I said, just does the heavy jobs. It's been a good tractor, worth every penny I paid for it. It's going to be here for a while. So, with that said, moving on. Come over here. This is our, I don't know what these things are. This looks like a Mazda. If you look at the front end of a Mazda and you look at the front end of this, that's what it looks like. It looks like a Mazda truck. I don't know. So I'm just going to call it the pickup, because I don't know what else to call it. We have that. We also have our DO24 trailer here in case we need to haul anything small. You're not really going to haul a whole lot of weight with that pickup because it does a whole bunch of squatting with that trailer on it, even with nothing on it. So we just don't haul too heavy with it. Outside the shed here, we have our Anderson stack wagon. This is used to pick up our square bales. TSR 3450. Does a good job. It's a heavy wagon, so you know what tractor it gets put on. Gets put on the Massey, of course, because of it being so heavy and having such a demand on the hydraulics. We need the Massey to power it, so that's the one she gets put on. Now, coming over here into this shed is basically our haymaking shed. We have our silage wagon here, loading wagon anyway, the Strautmann Zelon. We have the Kuhn mower. We have a Pottinger Alpha Motion mower in front of it that I put on the front of the New Holland and hook the New Holland to the Alpha Motion and the Strautmann and go out and collect the grass for the cows when they need it. And we also collect our straw with it. Of course, we've got our Pottinger, or a Kuhn tedder over here. Good tedder, does its job, doesn't give me any problems. Here we have our Massey Ferguson 2270 XT Pro Cut baler. This is a square baler, and this thing is, I don't know, when I first got it, I'll give you the backstory on it. When I first seen this baler, it was sitting outside the dealership. The dealership had it hooked to a 8727 Massey Ferguson tractor, which is about a 400 horsepower tractor. When I seen that, assuming that it was hooked up to such a big tractor, I figured that it would need that much horsepower to run it. So, at first I didn't even ask him about it. And then I got to poking around at it, was looking at it, and they asked me if I wanted to do a demo with them. I said, a demo? They said, yeah, well, you know, bring it up and let you check it out. We'll bring both of them up, baler and the tractor. You just gotta let us know when you're ready to do the baling. I said, okay. So it's about 2-3 hours before I was ready to do the baling. I called down and asked them if they still had it, and they said, well, yeah, it's still sitting down here. Why? I said, well, I was going out to do some straw baling, and I got some first crop cut down and tedded up and rode up that I got to get up off the ground too. And I know you guys said you want to do a demo with it, so just kind of wondering if you still had it. And they said, oh yeah, we'll bring it up. We'll bring it up. So they brought it up. The tractor itself, with that baler attached to it, the tractor, that combo was just absolutely amazing. I mean, I got through that straw, those fields of straw. I got through both of those fields of straw before lunch, and they brought up the tractor and the baler up at 8, and I was done with both fields of straw before lunch. And I was able to push the straw bale out, the last straw bale out, emptied it out, brought it back, and checked the balls to make sure I had, enough twine balls. And after I looked at it, I realized that I had barely used any twine. So I took it back out and hit the road with it again and did the first crop baling out here behind the sheds and in the big grass field and behind the cow barn there. Did the first crop baling with it, and it was just phenomenal. The way it packed that hay in there. I mean, it packed them bales nice and tight, and they were heavy too. I could tell they were heavy because when they were coming off that ramp, you could watch that ramp almost bend down and touch the ground when the bale come off. So I knew they were heavy. And I says, oh, I like that. So I got done doing all the first crop fields with it, and brought it back. And I actually had drove past the store with it when I was coming back, and they seen me go by, so they followed me up, and I pulled in here, and they pulled in behind me, and they said 2 things. We wanted to know what you thought of it. And I said, absolutely loved it. I says, I don't know as though I'd need 400 horsepower, but the baler is absolutely phenomenal. I said, do we need 400 horsepower to run that baler? And they said, no, you only need like 200 horse to run that baler. If even that, you could get away with a 180, 190 horse tractor, and it wouldn't bother it too much. I said, okay, well, can I get just the baler? And they said, absolutely. When do you want it? Let us take it down to the shop, get it cleaned back up, and we'll bring it back up to you. Are you going to be around today? And I told them, well, I got some other things I need to do, but if I'm not here, just drop it off. And so they took the tractor and the baler back down the shop. I went, and I had to go down to the dairy and discuss the milk fat content with them and what was going on with it, because it's been up and down and all over the map, and I'm trying to get the feed ratio right, and I think that's why that's going up and down the way it is. But anyway, I come back, and the baler was sitting in the yard in front of the doors here, where it's parked at right now. There's a note on the front of it that said, when you get the opportunity, come down, sign the papers for it. This is how much it costs, and we're giving you, I think they said, I think it was 9,000 off, because I turned in an old New Holland baler, and so I got this one for, I think it's around 20 or 22,000 for it. So it was a pretty good deal, I think, and I was happy. So here it sits. Now, moving on. Got our Kuhn windrower here. I've had this windrower for going on 4 years now, since I've been in this. I didn't have a Kuhn before that. I had a Pottinger before this one, and the Pottinger was alright, but it was just a single rotor. So you did a lot of spinning around in the field, and it took a lot of time, and I was really, really glad when I drove past the store and seen this Kuhn sitting there. It was about 4 years ago. I pulled in, talked to him about it, and before I knew it, I owned it. It hasn't been a bad windrower at all. Hasn't done anything too terrible to me. I've lost a couple of tines off it, a couple of teeth, but that was only because of my own stupidity. Ran it across a rock and busted one off, and then I was turning around with it and got it too close to the tractor. And I realized I got it too close to the tractor, so I cut the wheel back to get it away from the tractor, and I wound up running one of the rotors into a fence post, so took off a couple of teeth on the outside of the rotor, but got it all fixed back up, and it's been a good windrower, so she's still here and probably will be until she falls apart. So that's this shed. Moving on to our next shed over here. This is the planting and harvesting shed. Here we have our Lemken Solitaire 23 front tank for our Lemken Azul planter right here. What I reckon, this is one of them things where I like this planter, but I don't like how much it weighs. I've been seriously thinking about turning this and the Coon in over there for trailed planter. Like, they had a nice Vaderstad down there the other day, and I thought about stopping in and talking to him about it, but I see it's gone now, so I don't know. But I was thinking about turning those two in and getting a nice trailed one. But this one I use for planting corn and soybeans with, so I'd have to have one that could do everything to replace the two that I have, and the ones that do everything are really expensive, so I haven't done it yet. But this one works. It's just ridiculously heavy, so I usually have to carry this around with the Massey, which is okay as long as the Massey's not doing anything. But if I got the Massey Ferguson plowing, for instance, then I can't do anything with this planter until the Massey Ferguson's ready. So here be the plow that the Massey pulls around. It's an Agromoss. I like it. It's standard 4-bottom rollover plow. It does its job. I haven't busted any shanks or sheared any bolts off. Haven't had any issues with the roll cylinders. Everybody complains about the roll cylinder being leaking on them, but this one I haven't seen it leaking. And I've had it for a while. I mean, the only thing that I've had to really do to it since I've had it was I had to put new cutting edges on, because as you can see, ground around here is a little rocky, so it likes to wear them cutting edges off. But other than that, I did, never mind. I did have to repack one cylinder on it, and that was the swing out cylinder here. But that was only because that boot right there had come off, and I didn't get around to tying it back on, and I should have. And it got some crap down inside the cylinder, and it sucked it down inside, and then blew out the seal on the inside. And it was my own doing. I should have taken care of it, but I didn't. So you live, you learn. Life goes on. Here we have the Agrisem combi plow. I use this for basically stuff that I'd have to go deep into the ground to chew up. So this is actually pulled by the Valtra, which is missing for some reason. Oh yeah, that's because the one of the helpers has it out there in the field, spraying with it, fertilizing that field out there. So they're probably done by now, which means that instead of bringing the tractor back, they got picked up to go have lunch, because it's 12:30. So tractor's probably still sitting out there where they left it. I'll have to go get it. But in the meantime, it usually does It usually plows up the ground that's had cereal crop in it. Anything from wheat to barley to canola, that type of thing. And here's one of the combines. This is the TC590 New Holland. Pretty self-explanatory. Nice little machine. Does its job pretty well. I mean, she's not that old. I've had her for probably a year and a half now. I'm satisfied with what it does. I know how it's going to react. I know what it can do and what it can't. So I like the machine. Does a good job. We just finished corn. Well, we finished corn with it last season, and head's still on it, as you can see. Haven't taken the head off, but it'll probably get used for corn first before it gets cereal crop ran through it. So I don't know. We'll see which one comes about first. That's pretty much it for this shed. You know, of course, we have the serial header for the TC590 right there too, but you guys don't want to see that, I'm sure. Out of that shed, on our way over, we'll come over here and we'll get a look at our Flegels. I was going to go with different wagons. I was going to get bigger ones, and then I thought to myself, why get something so big that I'm going to have a problem pulling it? I don't want something that only a big tractor can pull, because I'm going to try to keep the big tractor doing other things. So I got these. I got two of them. They're nice because they can tip from either side, left or right, and you can tip from the back. So it comes in quite handy. You can tie them together, hook them together, and they're basically a really good wagon. They do a good job, so hence the reason we have them. We have our Bredal fertilizer spreader here. I do both things with it, lime and fertilizer. And we have our Stara cultivator. It's the Fox KS. It cultivates as well as plants. You can plant grass and canola with it, and oilseed radish. I used it to do canola. Did really well. Did a good job. So, can't complain. I do use mods in this game, as you can see. We just ran past one of them. This is what I call the cheat silo. This makes a total mixed ration. All you have to do is drive up underneath this little pipe right here, and it spurts it out into any wagon you park underneath it. Don't plan on keeping that. Just had it here for, well, obviously for to start the farm. Haven't taken care of it since, so we should probably just eliminate it in future. I probably will. Here's our commodity storage silage. This is where we store our grain, soybeans, all that happy stuff. This is the universal fill silo. What I mean by universal fill is it does the seed, the fertilizer. That's it. That's really all you need. Does all your seeds, it'll do fertilizer, and it'll do lime. That's why I have it. It still charges you for it. You still have to pay for it. But it's on the property. It's one silo. It's not 3 different ones that you got to figure out where to put. And don't take up that much room. And it's nice to have. So that's why we have it. Here is shed number 2. In behind this gate lies a machine that I don't feel this farm would be complete without. The 1660 axial flow case international combine. This combine is just a wonderful machine. I love it to pieces. I use it every time I get a chance. It's got a corn head and a cereal head. This one also did a lot of corn last season, and it ran a lot of cereal grain through it too. There's just no beating the way that these things thresh. They don't miss a whole lot versus your other competitors. I mean, sometimes the competitors miss a lot of grain when they throw out the chaff in the back. That's something you can almost count on not happening with one of these. They tend to get every little scrap of grain they can before they throw that chaff out the back. So that's why she's here. She's a good machine. Hasn't given me any issues. Keep up with the maintenance on her. Beautiful machine. And over here we have our MC18-4 Manitou. You're really not farms need either a forklift or a telehandler nowadays, and this was actually cheaper and I think more maneuverable, so hence the reason we have it. Did a good job putting the seed and lime away over there, and we have 2 genetics bags over here that we've been using, and did a good job with those. Had both of them on the front, up in the air. Didn't give me any issues, so good machine. See, here's our lime and our fertilizer over here, the big bags. It put those in here without a fight, so okay, that's the machine tour. Oh, of course, except for our Joskin water trailer. And back here is our slurry spreader, the Zune hammer. Now the Zune hammer can be a little heavy, so the Zune hammer goes, of course, behind the Massey Ferguson. I bought the injector unit to use when I do like corn ground, that type of ground after a harvest. I'll use it to do that injection of slurry into the ground, but other than that, don't really use it for much else. I mean, I unhook it from the back and just use the tank itself to do the grass fields, because there's no point in cultivating a grass field. So, oh, excuse me there. And here we have our Samson SP14 manure spreader. I was going to get the extensions on it, but decided not to, because, well, didn't think I needed to pay the extra money for just a couple more liters. So, didn't bother getting the extensions. We haven't had a big issue with it. I mean, the inside, the liner's still pretty good on the inside yet. Chains are still good. It's dual floor chain. Haven't had a broken chain at all with it, so works out good, I guess. Now, the next step here is the animals. Of course, I have chickens. Chickens are different. The dairy farms I grew up around always had a chicken somewhere. Whether it was in the barn or outside of the barn, there was a chicken somewhere around. A lot of the time, they were in the barn eating the corn before the cows could get to it. So, and here's the cows. They're in here just chomping away. I believe everybody's good on food right now. Chickens, of course, yeah, they're fantastic on food right now. And cows are doing good too. We might need to give them some straw, but they're doing pretty good on everything else. Milk's creeping right up there. We got, well, we're getting our next cow in 30 minutes. So we're going to have a birth here pretty soon. That's a good thing. And we'll have to be putting in a phone call to the milk truck, I believe, here pretty soon. Other than that, that's the farm. Got a sprayer over here. Well, we did, but it's hooked onto the Valtra. Wherever the Valtra is, I thought I'd be able to see it from here. Oh, there she is, down there in the field. So, we'll have to pop down there and grab her, I guess. So, bear with me here while we do a jump. There she is. Okay, the Valtra is an N174. It's the cow edition. I like this tractor. I do, but I just wish that it had the flip around steering in it, because it would make it 100% more useful. I mean, not that it's not useful now, because it is, but if it had the flip around steering, it would be a lot more useful. I can hook it to the mower and not have to worry about anything. Looks like we forgot a couple spots here, or just didn't hit them right, I guess. There we go with that. Now take a drive down here and make sure we didn't miss anything else. Oh boy, did we. Well, this guy's not going to get his bonus. But to be fair, he's at lunch, so he probably realized that he had this left to do and just figured he'd do it after lunch. Well, I'm here, so I'll get it done. That'll make the wife happy anyway, because she doesn't like to pay out for work when we can avoid it. I can't say so I blame her. Spin around here. So yeah, the reason we've been gone for a while is because, to be quite honest, I had lost interest in making videos for a little while. I hadn't really given any thought to making a video in a while, because of the simple fact that, well, A, I was busy. I mean, work was keeping me pretty much tied to it all the time. And I mean, it still does right now, but things have calmed down a lot more than what they were. So now I've got the extra time to make a couple of videos here and there. You know, let people know what I've been doing. These videos are going to follow a storyline. This is a dairy farm, so this is a role-play dairy farm. Which means that we'll be talking about neighbors and what the neighbors are doing on their farms, and what's going on in the dairy world, and all that good stuff. as it stands right now, just getting into this video, I'll give you the backstory on the farm while we're out here spraying, so you'll be able to get into this a bit better. When I got the dairy farm, it's been about 10 years now. I got dairy farm 10 years ago. Bought it at an auction. Guy that had it was just getting out of it. He, you know, not unlike everybody around the area, had fallen into that bad slump. Just got to the point where he couldn't continue to do the dairy farm on his own. His kids didn't want to do anything with it because they noticed that farms were dying and they didn't want to have something that wasn't going to support their families, you know, because of the way things were going. They believed that it wouldn't be a smart decision to try to take it over. And he couldn't continue to do it because he was up there in age and it was just too hard on him, so he decided to sell out the land, sell out the farm, auction it off, and basically just move. I mean, he still lives in the area, farm. He still comes and chats once in a while when he gets a chance, but I guess him and his wife are thinking seriously about going to Florida because they hear that it's nice down there, weather's better and warmer for one. And he's up there in age, you know, like I said, getting arthritis, so it's kind of hard on him to be here in the cold. So, but anyway, when I bought the farm, I got just the land that was with the farm, and some of the machinery, not all of it. Some of this machinery that I've got now wasn't even on the farm when I bought it. So I've done some construction here and there, put up more sheds. It's been a really profitable farm for only having 42 cows, or 40 cows. When I started, I only had 20, I think I had 22 cows when I started. And everybody laughed and said, "Oh, you're going to get out of that in a matter of months. You'll see that that's just not profitable, and it's going to cost you more money than it makes you. And you're going to hate dairy farming before it's all said and done." And well, here it is, 10 years later. I have 40 cows. I have almost the newest machinery in the area, and I'm still turning a profit. It's not a giant profit, but it's enough of a profit to sustain the farm. So I can't see any reason now or in the foreseeable future why I'd get out of it and why I'd stop doing what I'm doing. If anything, I see me getting the farm bigger, adding more machinery, adding more animals. Don't know if I'd add, pigs or sheep or anything like that, but I would definitely bring in more cows. More cows, probably a couple more chickens. That type of thing. Might even bring in some beefers, some beef cattle. That wouldn't be bad at all, because, beef cattle or beef cattle. It's basically they basically pay for themselves. So, not to not to sound pompous or sound like I'm big and important because, well, I'm just a simple dairy farmer here. But I like what I do. I've got nice equipment to do it with. I turn a pretty decent profit doing it. And I just enjoy being a dairy farmer. I guess I'm probably one of the crazy people that other people just go, why would you do such a thing? Why would you want to do such a thing? There are people that just don't understand why I do what I do. My wife, when we first bought this place, was just in complete and total loss for words. And she seen that I had bought this place. But when I bought the dairy farm, she just stood there and looked at me like, why? She hadn't seen the house, hadn't seen the farm. I was here for the auction. She was at work. And I just, we'd had half a day where I was working, so I came out and picked it up because, well, it was a price I couldn't walk away. So I bought it. And ever since then, we've been doing this together. When she's off work, she's working on the farm with me. When I'm off work, I'm working on the farm with her. But right now, my work in-game is running this farm. Because I actually retired from what I was doing to run this farm. And that's what I've been doing. And I gotta tell you, since I retired from what I was doing to run this farm, I've never been happier. And she sees that. She knows that, so she doesn't question it. That, by the way, is her tractor. She likes the boat. She wants me to keep it. She actually wants me to get rid of the Vulture because the Vulture is so complicated to run. For her it is. And, it is if you don't know what all the color codes mean for each knob and button. I'm not really into that. This one is just a series of shifters and levers. It's an easy tractor to operate, I will give it that, but I don't know if I want to continue using it because, like I said, I don't really need 4 tractors on this farm. So, anyway, we'll let the wife do her planting here. I gotta get the Massey running. And we gotta get back there to that forage harvester and get that hooked on. I gotta get the Vulture out of the way. The first thing I gotta do is get the front weight off the front of the Massey. So we gotta take her over here. Now, this series is going to be based on what a real-life dairy farmer would go through. It's going to be, like I said, a role play, so there's going to be a lot of talk of, in-game imagination, that type of stuff. Right now, ooh, hey, probably shouldn't hang that up on the side of the building. As you can see, this mech weighs a lot. Puts a little bit of weight on the front of this tractor. But it's a necessary evil. Much as I'd prefer it to not weigh as much as it does, not really much I can do about that. Let me get hooked on to the Brantner here with the Ferguson, and we'll find out what this great demand that the port's all about. So I guess I shouldn't have asked the wife. She just came from there. She probably could have told me. Works for a grain co-op down there. If I'd asked her, she probably could have told me what was coming up. Whereas maybe she thinks we didn't have any of it either, so that might be why she didn't mention it, but let's get a look. We'll see what they're wanting here. Grain elevator east. Wow. Okay, grain elevator east. Well, they definitely want sunflowers. And looks like soybean. But what else? That's not really a great demand. Cotton they definitely want. Eggs went down. Oh no. Grain mill they've actually went up. Grain elevator east they've went down, which doesn't really make any sense. So what is it that's a great demand? Huh. I guess it must be for the sunflowers and the cotton. We don't really have a whole lot of sunflower, so it wouldn't be worth trucking it down there. So we'll probably just wait on that, I guess. I do need to check on the doofus out here. Oh, where are you, doofus? There you are. Hey, hey. Get out of the wall. Alright, let's feed him, because that must be why he's walking around. Oh, okay. There you go, have some food. So we will, now that we've fed the dog, I guess we can close up shop here on the cows. And as soon as the wife's done with the Deutz, I believe we're going to take it down with the serial planner on it and trade it and get a planner. So we need to, I don't want to try and look it up on the tablet, so I think we're going to go down there and just talk to him about it. Every time I try to look something up on that damn tablet, it goes spastic on me, so we'll just go down and talk to them, see what they've got, and see what we can get. Well, there must be something you wanted to see sitting there. I don't know what, but something. And don't look like they've got anything out yet. But they don't generally have anything parked out here unless they're having a sale, so. Let's see, is there anybody home tonight? Well, I definitely don't see anybody. What do we got here? Well, I believe I would like to get this one. It's trailed. Does everything the one that we have does. But it's trailed and it's got a bigger, well, does it? Yeah, it's got a bigger width. I'd really, really, really like to get this one, but I don't have the funds for that. They got some pretty massive machines in here too. I know I'd probably never ever need something like a 40-foot drill. 12.2 meters. I mean, wow. That'd be almost half my field in one go. And a 60-footer, holy crap, 18.2 meters. Come on now. Requires 475 horse to run it, though. But, I mean, I'll tell you what, that's like half the field in one swipe there. So, it would be worth it in the end to have it, but my goodness. If I was that big. But I'm not. I'm just your modest dairy farm trying to make a living here. So probably what we'll go with is the Rapid A600S. Seems to be the best one. 180 horse, so pretty much all the tractors I have could pull it. Looks like it'll be the one that fits the bill. I'd like to upgrade my planters too, but this Lemkin is what I have right now, the Azure 8, and it's 6 meters. Both of these are nice. I mean, they really are. But it's just so daggone heavy. You know, that's the biggest thing about it. It's just so daggone heavy. If I could find one that wasn't so heavy. Ooh, what's this? Got a coon here. I didn't know they had that. 5.4 meters. Only 100 horsepower. 54,000, that's not bad. I'm getting ahead of myself here, though. We'll have to see what we get for our equipment before we go jumping into something else. In the meantime, yeah. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah, I got to call the milk truck. So we'll come back down and talk to them again at some point. I'm sure they'll get it in and situated before I even know they got it, and then they'll call me up and want to do a demo with it like they've done everything else I've bought from them. So, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, why not, you know? Alright, back up to the farm. Yeah, I suppose we could stop in and see how the wife's doing in here. Doing pretty good. About got it done. That's good news. Which means we'll be able to get rid of those pretty quick. Might not be in this video that we do it though, but probably next video. For the meantime, we're back at the house, and I should probably go out there, start throwing some fertilizer down on that while she's doing the planting. So before she goes calling me up and hollering at me, I should probably get with it. Get the fertilizer on the ground and excuse me. Get things started, you know. Here's my favorite. Well, this one and the Massey are my favorites. When I got this spreader, I didn't realize that it was so tall that I couldn't clear the end of the shed with it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have got the spreader extension. Oh well. Ain't nothing I can do about it now. Ooh, don't hit the sun. So yeah, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. So in the meantime, I'm going to start doing the fertilizing while the wife finishes up the planting. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you'll subscribe, like, all that happy stuff. Stay tuned, because there are more videos to follow. And basically that's about all I got to say for now. Like I said, subscribe, like this video. And don't be afraid to leave your comments about what you'd like to see next and how you'd like to see this go on. So from now until then, we'll talk to you later. And remember, if the ground is wet and it ain't down yet, you're behind.